Hey Senku, Gen was saying something about a MILF? What is a MILF? Ask your mother. No, I mean, just Google it. What's Google? Oh, right. Well, you're about to find out. We're gonna make the internet. And I can learn anything I want? Yep, and when we build it, I'll even name it after you, since you always have so many questions. So people can Google something using Chrome. Right. Yeah. Hi, it's time for another review. This week's chapter 217 is all about the return rocket plan. Chrome makes a big fuss about his big plan, and then everyone has a vote about it. And I mean, he is frantic, doesn't it seem? It just seems like he's being aggressive with this idea. You know, Chrome is a dedicated problem solver, innovator, usually does his own thing, but sometimes I think he has to kind of prove himself to be taken seriously. I think that's what I'm seeing here. We've seen Senku put a lot of faith in Chrome, like when he had to design the drill, and on Treasure Island when he figured out how to calculate the speed of the beam. But he's also been shot down, like when he tried to bring up an idea to revive automatically if you were petrified. Maybe it kind of started when they first met, when Senku just kind of blew off everything that Chrome was trying to do to show off his smarts and sorcery skills. I think sometimes Chrome maybe feels like he has to show that he can keep up, which is no problem for him. Designing things like the metal detector and the water wheel, spending 3 days straight nonstop on the water wheel. Seems like he has some kind of taiju-like endurance, but for mental. And here it looks like he stayed up all night, coming up with his plan that he's going to reveal. This idea is triggered by Ryusui saying we need to work on a galactic scale. I guess he's talking about some kind of a space team, unless he's talking about recruiting some aliens or something. So once Chrome's plan is ready, he starts up this big science conference. And just a trivial little detail, he looks a lot like a few chapters ago when Francois made the Dragon TV sign. But it made me think, you know, Francois is a support character for Ryusui, and it makes me think, well, Suika has been a support character for Chrome now. She's there out front waving people in and just helping him do whatever he needs to do. So I'm jumping around a bit, but before I talk about Chrome's plan, something I noticed is that Zeno seems like Zeno always looks down or away during like tender moments, or if he's complimented or something like that. As a dictator kind of guy, maybe he's just not used to moments like that. Like when Gen gave him the knife at the rubber trees, right before Ryusui got shot and he was trying to reason with him. And even giving Senku a nice little compliment. So the reason a return rocket was unreasonable in the first place was because the rocket would have to be so big, and to get a rocket out of the atmosphere that's that big is a lot harder. So it seems that Senku and Zeno did consider a plan like Chrome's, but called it wild and unrealistic because designing a rocket that combines in space is just too complex of a design for them. If they didn't have a working rocket yet, I think Senku probably would have turned down Chrome's plan. But they can successfully launch now, which may be why he was okay with the idea now. And if Chrome's plan doesn't pan out, they still have the hardest part out of the way, and they could go back to plan A if they need to. So Senku mentions that the space station Byakuya was on was built the same way, and that's the ISS, which I'm excited to talk about now. So the ISS is the International Space Station. It's the biggest man-made object in orbit. They're celebrating 20 years now that people have lived on the ISS, and starting in 1998, it was 41 different launches to put this thing together. Parts from NASA, from Russia, from Japan, from Canada, from Europe all came together so that they can do experiments in space and tests and observations and all kinds of research. By the way, looking at these dates and thinking about the Dr. Stone timeline, these Japanese parts were sent in 2008, 2009. And if Senku was born in 2004, then 2008, 2009 would be around the time of this scene, when Byakuya talks about he didn't get to be an astronaut. NASA has a great website for the ISS. It's got all kinds of great information and pictures. So to decide if that's the kind of plan that they can do, they're gonna have a vote, like a real vote. Ryusui says This is the Stone World's first democratic vote. Is it weird that they haven't had any kind of an election for anything until now? Everyone seems to always just kind of accept the Senku's in charge, but maybe they really weren't that happy with his one-way plan. Maybe they can just decide with another poker game. But it's a unanimous vote. Everyone believes it can happen. Sai created a voting program, which seems like it's a simple enough thing to make. If you know about programming, that's great. If you don't, like me, I found a couple of videos that use this really easy programming, almost is like a game, programming app called Scratch. If you've never dabbled in programming, this would be a great way to start. So I'll link those in the description. And the next invention planned is making the internet, something we just can't live without in modern times. They've been able to get by with radio waves so far, but I guess they really need to amp up their communications now to be able to recruit everyone in the new world to work on this new design. If this is how it is, then are they finally going to find and bring in some more rocket scientists? I mean, Senku and Zeno are total badasses, but maybe this is their way of saying this is as far as they can go on their own. So how do you make the internet? Well, the data coming to you, allowing you to watch this video, is more than likely coming across some cables under the sea. There's thousands and thousands of miles of communications cable connecting lots of different countries to provide them internet. These cables have had quite a history. Starting in the mid-1800s, they started laying cables for sending telegraphs and then for telephones. And there was a lot of trial and error as far as what they're made of, how they're insulated, how well they can carry a signal. Lots of problems came up while they were developing it. The ones we use now with fiber optic were laid down in the 1980s, and they have tons of insulation to protect them, but they're actually only about an inch thick. And along the cable, every so often, they have these repeaters to kind of boost the signal. And I was looking at this map to see if it matches with the one in the panel, and it kind of does and kind of doesn't. I'm not sure what Boichi's reference was here. But anyway, I guess that's what we'll see next chapter. See how they put it together. Sounds like it's time to revive a whole bunch more people to make this new rocket happen. And once that plan is in the works, I think maybe their next topic will be who's going to be in the capsule. Who's going to go to the moon? I think that's got to be the next thing they have to address. So a question I have for you this time is, do you think we'll get some new characters? Because it's possible that they might be bringing in some more scientists. They're talking about reviving more people. Senku and Zeno seem like they're at their limit of what they can do, so they might be bringing in someone else. So do you think we have some new characters coming with this mass revival they seem to be doing with the internet and the designing of all those parts? But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.